I'd like at this point to invite Her Excellency, the Deputy Head of Mission for the Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany, Regina Hess, to come forward and please use the podium if you don't mind. It helps the photography. And do be careful as you go up. Thank you.
Everybody, all protocol observed. I'm very happy to be here as I personally, working at headquarters in Berlin and then later at the embassy here in Nigeria, I witnessed how KfW started to cooperate, how the idea of the Nigerian Development Bank came about, and I'm very happy to see how far we have come. First, because development banks, as we have seen in Germany, have proven to be a very useful tool. First, to rebuild, sorry, I'm always confusing Nigeria and Germany, but this is the fourth, how I was introduced, you remember? Sorry, so to rebuild Germany after the war. But today it helps the government to introduce politics they want to see thrive, but where people haven't really bought in, or where we just need to see sow more seeds, like solar in private houses, energy efficiency. So KfW, as our development banks, offers very affordable loans. So people buy it, and then the sector thrives, neighbors understand that this is working, and so they start the development. And in Nigeria, supporting the SMEs follows the same idea. In Germany, SMEs are the backbone of the economy. We are quoted for that all over the world. And it's a special environment where the SMEs in Germany thrive, and of course you cannot copy it one-to-one. But witnessing this discussion today, I was very happy that the main features have been touched upon. It's the banking, it's the access to the banks, but it's the trust of the banks in the SMEs. Somebody said, please banks, talk to us, try to understand us. I think that's really, really important. And another important feature is the skills. You have to have people who have the skills you need to build your business. Education. And in Germany, this is something which wasn't mentioned here, and Nigeria doesn't really have, but might want to look into it. The chambers of commerce play an enormous role in the vocational training. They connect the business who say this is what we need with the institutions and tell them this is what you have to train for. And when a new sector evolves, they help to define the professions this new sector needs. So this is something Nigerian chambers of commerce don't do, and I don't really see any other organization doing that. So maybe something to look into and help create the framework for the SMEs. Another feature is that in Germany, SMEs are often family-owned, and they have a tradition of looking after their staff very well. And they have a tradition of taking risks like very mindfully, and they're trying to work in niches where they know they can have a success, often related to the big businesses, or the car manufacturers have lots and lots of SMEs who deliver. So you need the big business, you have to nurture them to grow more SMEs. But the SMEs, they thrive because they take the risks very slowly, grow locally, then regionally, and then enter the world market. And some of our SMEs are world market leaders for little products which you wouldn't even know what they are useful for, but all over the world everybody wants to buy it because it's the little thing you need to have this special machine. So I think you are in the right way, and I laud the DBN and the government of Nigeria that you have created this, and I hope many more SMEs can tap into the funds, and many more bankers start believing in SMEs and help them create the business, create the jobs, and help develop Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Deputy Head of Mission, German Embassy, Regina Hess. Thank you. It's time now for us to invite Mr. Andrej Popik of the World Bank.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and on behalf of the World Bank, I'd like to say that it was our pleasure to help both the federal government and the Development Bank of Nigeria in this journey. And today we see that the bank has come a long way, and I would like to attribute this primarily essentially to a very strong and exceptional governance model, both by design and more importantly by implementation, where essentially the team of the Development Bank, both on the executive side and the board, are essentially privately sourced, sort of competitively recruited professionals. And today, this has essentially resulted in outreach to about 50,000 enterprises. So the next stage in the development of the market is really the scale in a sustainable way, which means essentially that both on the financial and operational side, the DBN is able to continue to provide financing. And one of the key sort of comparative advantages of Development Bank of Nigeria is, as somebody mentioned, is a longer-term finance. Not because it's it's an end in itself, but because essentially it would allow the entrepreneurs to essentially invest in their businesses, invest to grow their businesses, and essentially allowing them to afford it. So going forward, we will be happy to continue to support the Development Bank of Nigeria, as it essentially supports the private sector lenders, the banks, the microfinance banks, the other lenders that qualify to meet the financing needs of the SMEs. I think this is a point that's worth emphasizing, because DBN essentially is not designed to resolve the financing constraints of the SMEs. It was designed to strengthen to reform the financing environment and to support the private sector banks and institutions rather than to replace them in really reaching this scale, because this is the only way really to resolve the financing gap for SMEs. So I would stop here and congratulate again the DBN team and the government for this success so far.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andre. May we now invite Mr. Andre Hugh of AFD.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Andre Hugh, Deputy Country Director of AFD, and we have been supporting DBN from the beginning as the World Bank, as the KfW, as other partners. So we feel it's a very big success, although, of course, the DBN is young. What we see is a way forward for the PFIs, that is the partner financing institutions of DBN, opening up to the MSMEs. AFD has been supporting MSMEs through a number of schemes throughout Africa for several years, so we are actually capitalizing on that. And we are very aware of all the difficulties faced by the MSMEs and smaller enterprises in Africa. In Nigeria, we've been supporting a number of institutions, MFIs, like LAPO, who have been extending a lot of credit to some of the MSMEs that are struggling here in Nigeria. We would like to do more. We see that DBN has a lot of partners now with the main commercial banks, with a number of financial institutions, smaller financial institutions as well. So the path is probably very well set now. We also want to encourage DBN to develop its guarantee mechanism that is now up and running. It was launched in June, if I'm not mistaken. So we would participate in developing that guarantee element to foster the SME financing in Nigeria. I think that the panel today was really top in terms of quality, in terms of debate, and all the topics which were addressed, which were brought today, are indeed at the back of our mind. We are very much aware of all these difficulties. Now, we, as a development institution, want also to develop skills in Nigeria. We have a partnership with MAN, which has been set up this year, and we would probably, through MAN, and especially on renewable energy solutions, help the SMEs finance their projects with a technical assistance that would also contribute to their success. So we have a number of operations that are jointly taken, making sense, we feel, in developing SMEs in Nigeria. Now, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of strength to do that, to achieve this. And we want to encourage DBN, of course, to bring all the support through the PFIs to achieve those goals. So, as a staunch contributor and support of DBN, we are very hopeful that things will grow, that PFIs will grow, that SMEs will thrive on those projects. Thank you very much.